Hello and welcome back to the garage today. We're gonna get this Ford 530 Baler out, get it cleaned up, and get it ready for the year. So without further ado, let's get hooked up. Let's get it to the house. Alrighty, so it's been a few days. I got this thing up in the garage, clearly. To my knowledge, there's not really much wrong with this baler. I know I need to go through all the fluids, grease everything, go through the tines. That's the main thing that's going to need replaced. It's just not a lot, but there's tines in there that do need replaced. They're just broken. And honestly, they might have been broken when I got the baler. I don't know. I've actually never changed any on this. But regardless, let's get a couple of these guards off. Let's take one off so I can get a town, and then I can get us some new ones. Hopefully somebody has them. I think they're pretty generic, just spring tine. But yeah, let's go ahead and let's get a couple of these covers off, and let's see how things look inside there. For you guys here is like, I want to work on that row that's now in front. I like to bring those up to the top, so I can tell I got at least 1, 2, 3 ish, I think, that need replaced. Maybe a fourth there on the end. You can spin this. You can't spin it one way, but you can spin it the other way. Kind of want to have those just up at an angle like that. Just personal preference there. Now, if you also want to, you could remove these two pins here. You could probably remove this whole bar. I'm not that worried about that at the moment. Maybe once I get started, I'll want to. But let's get in here and I'll just show you how to remove these guys. What there is, there's just 2 bolts up here and 2 bolts. You can see the nuts right down in there. 2 bolts down there. Remove those. These ought to just slide off. They'll fight you a little bit because they'll be kind of wanting to pinch down, but nothing too crazy. Yeah, so I'm going to go ahead and I'll get a couple of these off and we'll look at it and see how things look. So let's get to it. So I was going to record myself taking this off, and I just made a mistake. As you can tell, I took this one off. There's nothing there. I need to take either that one or that one off, and I took this middle one off, which doesn't get us to anything. But they're pretty simple. I'm surprised to say these are 11 millimeters. The heads are. Now, maybe mine have been replaced. I don't know. But for me, they've all been 11 millimeters so far. Yeah, just got a little bit of spring tension there, and take off 2 on the bottom, and I'll get those 2 on the bottom real quick, and then we'll pull her off. You'll see it's kind of got to pull, but I mean, she comes off all right. All right, so I got the top bolts off, bottom bolts off. Really, all you gotta do is, I mean, you can go top or bottom, whatever. I just pull it, just give it a good yank. She'll come right off. So yeah, and then you can easily now get into this guy. And I'm going to work down a little bit more. Because luckily, I think I'm mainly just missing them on this one. But if you're missing, a couple in this one, then you could take that one off, rotate it, take the next one. But we're doing pretty good here. We don't have too many broken, which is great. So let's see, there's good things to look for. Like there's twine in here. That can mess up a bearing. So I need to get all this out of here, cut all this junk out, get this twine out. Who knows how long that twine's been in there, because I think I was using green twine until the end of the season last year. So maybe that's from me late, maybe that's from the guy before me. I don't know, but I'll get that out. So now that we're in here, I'll show you one over here. We've got just a 1/2 inch nut and bolt, nothing crazy here, and you just got that little bracket over it. I just broke this one loose. I actually broke loose really easily. That wrench might turn. Sure did. Yeah, no, let's just set that off to the side. This should just come right on out. Keep your clip and your washer and everything, and right there's your piece. Sadly, that one's been rubbing on the inside, which I don't see that very much on these other ones. So I'll just pay attention to that when I put everything back together. But ooh, there's a washer behind that. That's really good to know. See, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to town and get parts. So, make sure I don't screw up. We're just going to lightly put everything back together, so as I take apart the other ones, I don't lose anything, misplace anything, or have any issues happen. Just, there we go. And two hands would be a lot easier. But one thing I do want to go ahead and show everybody too is, so if you look down there, I'll get you guys in there better, I think. So you see how that one has a nut and the other three don't? So apparently what Ford had was a clip that went over a nut. You can tell this side over here is broken. If I focus on my hand. But as you can tell, that's broken. So I've got to think of what I want to do here. I'm going to look up these clips. My money's on you can't buy those clips anymore. You have a couple other options to where, like when mine broke, I just put a vice grip on it, came out, no problem at all. But, I mean, the other option would be as a carriage bolt. That would kind of really not be fun to deal with, and that's assuming that that square head is the same as the carriage bolt. The other thing that I could do is use really any carriage bolt, but my worry there is then I'm going to have a bunch that are different sizes, and I'll be under there with one size, it'll be another size, and I mean, I could always just weld the nut on there as well. So, I mean, there's a few options here, and maybe I'll just, for now, use the vice grips, put them back on there, make it a later date problem. But that's something just to be aware of. Like I said, I don't know which route I'm going to go at the moment. I'm kind of honestly leaning towards vice grips, which I know is going to make me hate myself in the future, but that's a future me problem, not a current me problem. So, I don't know. I'm just going to go ahead and keep taking these. I'm going to go ahead and take these broken ones off here, how many I've got, so I can run to town, buy the right amount. Maybe a few spares as well, just to have around. But yeah, I'm going to go ahead and deal with all that first, and then I'll think on my drive and my free time and kind of think of what do I want to do. Because I don't know yet. But somebody might also try to say too that, oh, you shouldn't have used an impact on that. Not saying you're right or wrong, but it's also a variable speed impact, so I just slowly pulled the trigger until it started turning. I don't know. Either way, could be at fault. If I'd have put a ratchet on there with a long one and I just would have turned it, it could have done the same thing. That's why, though, when I was using the impact, I didn't just go full bore with it. I just kind of slowly eased into it. But, you know, live and learn. And this thing's also, I don't know, from maybe the 50s, 60s, something like that. So it's not new anymore. So, hard telling. But that's enough talking. I'm going to get these all apart. I'll go to town. I'll get stuff. And we'll get you part numbers if I can find them. So, yeah, let's keep moving. All right. So I was very wrong. Went to town. They had every single kind of pickup teeth, rake teeth, everything. But not these. So it's probably been about a week, which has kind of worked out well because I figured out a solution for those nuts. Ends up what you need is a cage nut. What I got was these quarter by 20, 0.093-0.126. There's a part number, I guess, too, with that. There's a kid on YouTube who also did something similar with one of these. He used a different part number from a different place. Everything I've got here is from eBay. That's where I get stuff from mainly. And I looked into his option. His is quarter 20 as well, cage. Now, I can't remember the exact specifications, but his numbers were slightly bigger than that for the tolerance and stuff. And the company, I think, still has them, and they're really, really cheap, but I think you have to buy them very much in bulk. If you get on eBay and you find what that kid said, and you find them for like $7 a cage, do not buy them. That is a ridiculous price. I think I just bought, what is it, there's 75 in here. I think I bought them for $15 maybe. I don't know. But with all that being said, let's go ahead and let's get, show you get one of these teeth on, and then we'll show you how to get the nut in, and then I'll probably just wrap it up on my own. So nobody really cares to watch all that. So let's get to it. All right, so here's the nut. See, it has this cage on it. What I did is I just take it, put the bottom in first so gravity works with you. Okay, and while it's sitting there, take my pick in from the top side. Oh, apparently my pick's magnetic. Push it down and in. I didn't quite get it that time, but yeah, it just popped in, and make sure she's in all the way. And I'm not even sure if you saw all that, because I can see I moved my phone and I was paying attention to that. If we didn't, see if we can get another one done real quick. Because they're pretty easy. Just set it right there. Come on, phone. Nice to take your pick. Right there you can see that spring part. Push it down and in. I did the same thing I did over there, where I didn't get it in. My pick is magnetized and I don't know why. But yeah. Hopefully you guys saw that one. Yeah, that's how you get them in. Pretty simple. And yeah, let's go ahead and let's get to the tooth. Try to get you guys set up so I have both hands. Alright, so it's going to be the inverse of how we had it before. If you're ever not sure how exactly these go, you can look at your other springs, such as this one tells me it should go like this. And obviously just, you probably don't even have to fully undo the nut. If you could slide it in back behind, you could probably make that work. I don't feel like doing that way personally, so we're just gonna undo it all. There's that. Set that guy in there. This is why you need two hands. But also, if anybody's wondering, these things are a little bit spendy. I found mine on eBay. I think there was a guy selling like, you can either buy 5 at a time or you could buy 10 at a time, something like that. 10 I think was a little bit cheaper than the 5 at a time, probably buying in bulk, but also nice to tighten up your bolt and you're there. 10 at a time though was a slightly better deal. I didn't take that deal just because I only needed 3. After if I got 5, I got 2 spares. So it's probably not a bad thing to stock up on, because who knows how much longer they're going to make these. But I'm not really willing to stock up on them right now. But we'll see how next season goes, or how the end of the season is. If I end up needing 3 more, well, then I might as well buy the 10 if I'm going to go through roughly 3 a year. But for now, I've done this for 2 years. I need 3. I can live with that. I know last year I didn't replace any either. So yeah, I'm going to go ahead, finish getting these teeth on, tighten everything up, get everything buttoned back up here. And then we'll keep moving on. What else we need to do on this? All right, these are all back on. My best advice to anybody is get your 2 bolts in on the bottom, leave them loose, and just come up here, push down and forward, and then use your other hand to get the bolt on there. But yeah, everybody's on. Also, if anybody wants to see an electric hacksaw work, let me know. I'll happily make a video over that thing. It's terrifyingly awesome, and it's functional. Didn't mean to learn that, but we know that. Just, you know, things happen. But yeah, I'm going to go ahead and get all this stuff cleaned off, and then we'll get to looking in boxes, checking chains, lube, and everything. Just give me a second, and we'll get all this off. All right, so you got your front cover here. He's got 2 clips. This guy just picks up. Can be a little bit tricky, so watch your fingers. It'll pinch you, but sometimes kind of got to work it up. You gotta think with this thing's age, it's probably been tweaked a little. Normally I use 2 hands, so there she goes. And it's got a holder right there. Now, my chain here, it's at the end of its tensioning. but I think the tension's on is pretty good. I mean, luckily, if you still have one of these, it kind of gives you an idea of things to look into. But yeah, for this chain at least, I don't know where my WD-40 is. I use chain lube. I don't have any right now. I see my WD now. So I spray some oil on this chain just to keep it all happy. And then you have your one gearbox in here. I'm going to just get this thing sprayed down real quick. And I'll lube this thing more than once throughout the year. But, let's grab a wrench and check our gearbox. Alright, so with this gearbox, I got it broke loose. I actually have the manual right beside me now too, so I can tell you how exactly to do this. So, take my finger, I like to go down and in, and right there. Feel my thumbs, gonna mark my finger basically. And the way this thing reads is you want 2 inches from the oil level to top of the gearbox. Now that's where there could be some stipulations. Are they talking top of the threads? Or are they talking bottom of the threads? I like to go top of the threads. I think that's pretty close to 2 inches. Probably 2.5. But it's not the main gear case. That's your feed fork drive box. And you have SAE 90 is what's supposed to go in there if I needed to top it off. Now for your main gearbox, that one has a level plug. That one's pretty easy to read. It's saying SAE 140. Obviously, some of those might be slightly difficult to find. And maybe somebody out there's like, no, I can get SAE whatever from wherever. Yeah, you probably can. Maybe your farm store. I don't know. But I'm not super worried about it at this point in time. Let's go ahead and let's break this guy loose. And as we're checking it, I'll keep talking. Don't remember exactly where I was at in my talking, but also clean this stuff off prior to taking these out. Mine looks dirty, but trust me, it was a lot worse before. That's why there's chunks on the floor. But I always make sure you get an oil within that range. Like that one wants a 90, whether I got to do a 120 by 90. So I'm making up numbers, but something like that. Oh yeah, that's full. And one thing that it does tell you is, that's very thick oil, is to change these oils every single year. As for change your oil every single year, I'm going to give you my own thoughts and opinions on that. Yes, you should do it. Do I do it before I start? No. My main thought is think of all the guys who have these balers and they pull them out once every 3 to 5 years whenever they need to mow a bunch of hay, and they don't do a bit of maintenance on it, and they've been doing that for 20 years and they get by all right. Now what I like to do, since I don't bale a ton of hay, last year I think I was just shy of 500. This year, if I get 300, I'll be surprised. But what I'd like to do is last go of the year, after I get done baling, while this thing still has a little bit of heat in it, that's when I want to change it. Only because I worry about the sludge and junk that builds up over time, just like your car engine. Do it while it's a little bit warm and hopefully get all the junk out of it. So those are your tier gearboxes. Let's keep chipping away at stuff in here. So if we're going over grease zerks, you've got both U-joints. You have one. I don't believe there's one in the clutch because that wouldn't make sense. Underneath here is your main plunger area. As you can tell, she gets greased. I was thinking, I forgot my light was in there. Yeah, there was a grease zerk. This one might have fell out. I'll have to look into that. Yeah, there should be a grease zerk back here. And then you have this one, which goes to the front of your plunger. And I was thinking there was one down here at the bottom too. Maybe there's not. And then yet again, check your chain tension. That one's not bad at all. Luckily, that little shaft play that I'm seeing, it's turning everything. So it does not really show it on camera, but everything's moving. So that's good. I mean, it's fairly tight. Just go ahead and spray that while I'm here. I know, someone's going to say, this isn't the right lube for your chain. Well, I keep saying the wrong oil is better than no oil, and that was way too much oil. Was not paying attention. Now for this side cover above your wheel, also another grease zerk right there. That is your main pickup drive, and that's what that belt runs. Also, there are 2 grease zerks underneath this. I can't remember exactly where. When we get to it, I'll show you. But I didn't know about one of them for a while. But this guy, you should probably unbolt it or something. I don't really remember. Yeah, you've got 2 wing nuts. I've never used them. I just come in here, pick it up, and expose everything I need to see, which is the belt, which my belt is not the best, but it keeps working. I need to get a spare just to be safe. Let's check your chain tension. That one's loose. That one's very loose, but luckily I can loosen this bolt, move that up, and then it'll tighten it right back up. It's not the worst, but it definitely needs tightened. Yeah, I'm gonna do that before I lube up this chain. I'm gonna leave this cover dangling so I don't forget. But yeah, nothing too crazy in here really. And then we move right on back to here. Kind of shows you some more stuff. You do have a grease zerk down on this guy. You do have one down here on both sides. And now when it comes to greasing your, what is that? Spider web. Okay. When it comes to greasing everything in your knotter, don't overdo it. I'm someone who overdoes grease, and this is not one of those places to do it. I like to do it just so you see a little come out and just kind of barely pump that grease gun, and then once you see it come out, you're good. You don't want to overdo this. Also, I guess I did, well, 478 bales, and I reset it one time. So yeah, 500 bales last year is pretty close. You see all this dirt and junk on here. It's not a bad idea to blow all that off. If you don't, you might miss the first bale, maybe 2. It'll get to get itself cleaned through. When I bought this baler, it was retired. It was an older farmer's spare baler. It sat in the back of his barn for, I think, at least 10 years, maybe 15. I don't remember exactly what he told me. I probably ran 5 to 10 bales through this before I was consistently getting good tying bales, just because all that junk on the knotter. Obviously, it was a lot worse than what that is right there. And once I got it worked through, this thing rarely misses. For not knowing Ford balers, I'm very, very happy with this baler. This has been a fantastic baler, and hopefully I didn't just jinx myself saying all that, but we're doing everything we can right now in hopes that we don't jinx ourselves with it. Let's go ahead and get back here. This is pretty simple, like the rest of it. Just drop down. I do need to take these ones out. I emptied these last year. And there is a way to tie, I need to put these in here so I don't lose them. There is a way to tie your, I don't love that because that'll be okay, I think. I'll mess with that later. But there is a way to tie your new rolls to your old rolls. Probably something to do with this piece right here. The old timer who had this before me had it set up to do that. So the second one of these ran out, the next roll just started going. I don't know how to do that, so I'm not going to do it. So when I run out, if I run out this year, I'm a little doubtful. This one won't run out. This one's a maybe, but I'm doubtful it will. Then I'll have to just run the string back through, which is a pretty easy thing to do. There's a video of somebody doing a really good job of it, and maybe I ought to do a secondary video just to showing that process because it's very, very easy. Yeah, here's this other grease zerk. There's nothing really else back here. I don't believe there's anything on these guys, which is a surprise because you'd think there would be, but there is not. Let me go grab the manual and double check I'm not missing anything important. I don't think I am, but it's been a while since I've done this. So, but I do remember there are 2 grease zerks down here somewhere. So the grease zerks I was talking about down here that I told you, I forgot, I didn't know about them for a while, is there's one right here. This is off your pulley that runs your pickup. One right here. There's one on this U-joint. There's one in the middle, and then there's one on the far U-joint. I didn't know those existed for a while, and they're kind of important. Also, always double check your your play on your U-joints. That one's kind of getting loose. Weird part is it seems like it's loose in the housing, not in the U-joint itself, but I think we'll be okay. I'll keep an eye on them. So they need greased, I think, anyways. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I'm gonna go through the book, make sure I didn't miss anything important with the greasing parts of it, and we'll get right back. So if you're somebody who'd rather see pictures than hear me talk, here is everything. I'll hold it there in case somebody wants to screenshot it for a second. And then same thing over here. Weird part about looking at this is this thing actually does not show any grease zerks here at the back of the plunger. I thought that there was. That's why I figured that hole was there, but I am wrong. It only shows the one right up there. I can't help you with any pony motor stuff because I don't have one. Obviously, here's the underside we just talked about with these grease zerks here. It actually shows you, almost looks like getting, no, that's a frontal view. So yeah. And then I think it actually shows one, yeah, the one that's on there, and it shows the one that's inside of there. Back here on your nodder assembly, it shows, well, let's just see, 2 through 16, so there's 15 different grease zerks back there. Probably varies a little bit between what you have, but obviously it shows, I think the one down there, I'd have to get refreshed here. I think there's one on this shaft. There is, yeah, right there. There's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I don't know if I counted that one. It's not wiped off. I think I did, though. 10. Found one in here, which makes 11. And I know I'm missing probably a simple one or two, but so I would say, and maybe it counts these two as well, I'm not for sure. That'd make like, what, 13, 14? Obviously, this is where I do recommend, if you have the ability, manual. It's extremely, I don't remember what it cost, but it was like 20 bucks. Oh, I see the 2 easy ones I'm missing. They're just inside a little bit. But regardless, I think this might have been 20 bucks or so. It's, in my opinion, a lot nicer than getting on the internet and asking on forums, because, not even forums, most people use Facebook now, but some of them guys, it's honestly, in my opinion, an issue, because you have the people who are extremely knowledgeable on there. They give you great advice. And then you have the guys who think they're extremely knowledgeable. And a lot of those people make people like me, who, I'm not going to say I'm the most knowledgeable person in the world when it comes to one of these, but I, for the most part, know my way around them. Unless you need your nodders fixed, then I am not that guy. But it keeps people like me kind of from commenting, because you know enough to be dangerous, but not enough to fully doubt somebody. And that's where we have an issue with the old timers who know these machines. I would love to learn from somebody about how nodders work, but I hope I never have to learn them. But if that day ever comes, I guess I'm going to learn them. But that's enough talking for now. If anybody has any other tips, tricks, ideas, things like that, or even places to look for nodder material, let me know. I'm more than happy just to learn. Like I said, I'm not going to touch these because they work just fine, but I'm always willing to learn. But yeah, we'll call it here. Also, I keep asking too, if anybody wants to see any farm related content, let me know. I actually just bought a new rake at an auction. Do we want to see a video going over a rake? It's not going to be anything too wild, but we'll probably do it anyways. But we're going to call it here. So thanks for watching. Till the next one.